friends, my name is Antoinette Chanel and welcome to my channel. Sometimes a friendship is so public and strong that when it ends, it almost feels like a romantic breakup somehow. That's exactly what happened between Meghan Markle and Jessica Mulroney. These are two women who were inseparable, photographed everywhere together all the time until a single controversy changed everything. Today, we're breaking down what happened between the former best friends and why the rift is not just personal, but deeply political. Let's rewind. Meghan Markle met Jessica Mulroney in Toronto while filming Suits. Jessica, a well-known Canadian stylist and the daughter-in-law of former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, quickly became one of Meghan's closest friends. The two bonded over fashion, fitness, and womanhood. Jessica even helped style Meghan's character on Suits. Their friendship ran deep. Meghan was godmother to Jessica's kids, and Jessica's kids played a key role, or several key roles, in that 2018 royal wedding that she had to Prince Harry when she had a fly on her face. But in June 2020, during the global reckoning over racial injustice that was happening in the wake of George Floyd's murder, that changed. Canadian influencer Sasha Exeter made a video calling out her fellow white peers for what she described as textbook white privilege. Sasha had posted a general call encouraging influencers to speak up in support of Black Lives Matter. Jessica, feeling targeted by Sasha's video, allegedly sent a series of private messages that Sasha said were threatening and tone-deaf, including a threat of legal action and damage to Sasha's brand partnerships. This wasn't just about a disagreement. It became public reckoning about how white privilege works, even in friendships. And for Jessica, the backlash was swift and deep. So Jessica's reality show, I Do Redo, was immediately canceled. She lost her role on Good Morning America. Brands cut ties with her. She issued a public apology, but the damage was already done. And here's where Meghan comes in. Meghan had just stepped back from the royal family and was using her platform to speak about the injustices that come to people of color. And she invoked her identity as a mixed race woman as she did this. I think that she even referenced the tabloid attacks on her as being evidence of how we don't treat people fairly in this world. And so it looks bad if Meghan is over here championing for why we need to be more sensitive to the concerns and the experiences of people of color, and her BFF is over here like threatening somebody in DMs and kind of being tone deaf publicly. According to sources, I think these were just Meghan herself telling this to publications, but according to sources, Meghan was mortified, and it is said that she started to quietly distance herself. So at this point, we stopped seeing photos of Jessica and Meghan together, shout outs for birthdays. There was almost no mention of Jessica in Meghan's dealings, and Jessica did not mention Meghan very often either, although she did mention her once. So around 2021, after all of that sort of heat had died down, Jessica was quoted as saying that Meghan was still checking up on her privately. She said, "She's family, she checks up on me every day." But whether or not that was true or an attempt at damage control, we probably will never know. What we do know is that we have not seen Jessica Mulroney photographed with Meghan since this incident. We have not seen Jessica Mulroney in any of Meghan's public and professional circles. So that means we didn't see her on that show that she had about friendship. I don't think Jessica got one of those numbered jars of jam that Meghan was sending out when she was doing her RO promotion. We don't hear any mention of Jessica Mulroney when Meghan does podcast interviews. I don't even think she's invited her onto her podcast. The two of them don't seem to have anything to do with each other. To me, the most sad thing to come out of this is that Jessica has now recently separated from her husband, Ben Mulroney. It has been widely, publicly speculated that the reason why Ben and Jessica are separating and planning to divorce can be traced back to that 2020 rift. So where does this leave us? It leaves us with a story about race, reputation, and responsibility. Meghan told us that she was aligning with her values, but I question how strong or how existent those values truly are when she had the opportunity to extend a lifeline to someone who she considered to be her BFF. It seems like she took very conscientious steps back and stopped engaging with Jessica because she perceived that that was just going to bring her more negativity and controversy, and Meghan doesn't want that. Forget the friendship. Forget the years and years of continuity that the two of them had together. Forget what Jessica did for Meghan. Meghan lost a friend, but I think Jessica lost more. She lost not only her friend, but her public reputation took a huge tumble. And now it sounds like she's also losing her marriage to this. I can't even imagine. Some people say that Meghan abandoned Jessica in her time of need. Others say that Jessica chose to show her true colors when it mattered the most. I'm not sure exactly where I land just yet, but I do know that leaving your friend to suffer publicly and you're not saying anything at all, that's pretty slimy. That's House Slytherin. So that part I take issue with, but as far as Jessica Mulroney and her character, I don't know anything about her, besides her association with Meghan. Whichever side you fall on, I think that the story about Meghan and Jessica is a cautionary tale. Cautionary in that don't assume that just because the vibes are nice that this person will really be there for you when the chips are down. Don't assume to know the contents of a person's heart just because the vibes are good. It's also a story about what can happen when your private missteps meet public accountability. Jessica needed to be held accountable, but Meghan needed to be held accountable too. We haven't seen Meghan out here doing any sort of racial justice work, even though she chose to speak in the wake of George Floyd's killing about racial injustice and how people need to be sensitive, and how she sort of took up this position like this was a passion for her. It wasn't. We've seen in the years since that Meghan doesn't care about Black people. Meghan only cares about herself. And maybe Jessica only cares about herself too, but either way, she was left out dry, hanging. So even though it appeared on the surface to be this unbreakable bond and that these women were just best friends forever, it just goes to show appearances aren't always what they seem, and most friendships will be tested by truth. And Jessica and Meghan didn't survive that. Those are my thoughts. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me for yet another video. If you made it all the way to the end, I really appreciate you. Please, if you want to and you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. That's always really helpful for me so that other people can find the video. Also, if you are interested in seeing more content from me, consider hitting the subscribe button so that you can be notified every time I upload to this YouTube channel. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can at the handle that's on your screen right there. Otherwise, my friends, thank you so much for being here, and I will catch up with you in the next video. Bye-bye.